Cooking in Nani's Kitchen. I've got 3 videos coming up for you. Bread, a brisket, and potatoes, and then the spanakopita cheese and spinach sandwich. So that's coming up next individually. But right now, I promised that I would make a ESRD journey video to catch you all up on what has been happening since the last video. So here we go. On the last video, I had spoken about having gone to the hospital with, I felt a severe choking sensation, massive pounding headache, everything right up my side, everything just hurting. I just felt this tremendous pressure. And I spoke to you all about how I left the hospital and why and stuff like that. I walked out because it hit me what it was, and I knew they weren't going to be able to help me. But anyway, go back and watch the last video, if not the last one before, where I explain all that. I believe I even showed you all what the problem was, and if you can see that, okay, this is my arm. This is the fistula. I was feeling an ache right here, in between, right over my underarm, right here. A bad ache every time I dialyzed. And I kept complaining about it. I kept saying there's something wrong because it hurts. I mean, it was like a Charlie horse, if not worse. And then over a weekend, I started to feel this choking sensation. And it got really bad on Sunday night. I had to go to the hospital. I didn't know what it was. I couldn't lay down. I couldn't sit up. It's just like I felt like somebody was choking me, and it was just getting tighter and tighter. Well, they couldn't help me then. I realized what it was when I got there, and because they weren't listening to me, I got a panic attack and restless leg syndrome and all at once, and all I needed was some caffeine and a bag of pretzels, and I would have been okay, but they didn't listen, and no one would help me. So I left and I came home. I said, I'm not gonna suffer any more than what I need to. I'm at a hospital. I should be relieved of my suffering, okay, not have it enhanced. So I came home and I took care of myself, but that pressure was still there. Well, anyway, the next day I went to which was Monday, I went to the clinic and I spoke to the nurse, and she got together with the nurse practitioner over at the VA for renal, and they set me up to go outside of the VA to see in the private sector a vascular surgeon, the one who placed the fistula in and had performed 2 previous corrections. So this would make a 3rd one. Okay, keep that in mind. So I have been telling them about this pain, though, for about 2 months. No one did anything about it. And I kept telling them, there's something wrong. I feel like something is pinched, or the blood is not going through. Something is wrong. These are my words to them. No one adhered to it. Okay? The VA did, I mean, they acted like, you know, I don't know my own body, and I don't know what I'm talking about because this is my first time. Well, you know, it's not any of your first time. None of you all have this inside you. So how would you know what I'm feeling and not feeling if I'm telling you something? At least look into it. But anyway, it kept infiltrating. The venous did. So 27 infiltrations later, the last one having to be witnessed by the nurse so that she can go ahead and tell them over at the VA, yeah, I witnessed it, it went in good and then just blew for no reason. I kept telling them it feels like it's too deep. It's another thing. Well, anyway, so finally, because the nurse witnessed it, okay, and it wasn't done at the clinic, it was done at the home department. Because she witnessed this, she called the VA. They decided to go ahead and send me out for an ultrasound. But they decided to do a corrective surgery first to go in to see. I would have done I was asking for an ultrasound. I would have done that first. But no, that's not how the VA works. So they go in, we schedule an appointment, and they go in, and sure enough, the main artery where the blood flow, the venous blood flow, where the clean blood comes back in through the top needle, that's supposed to go around the shoulder and into your heart so it can go from there and do its thing, you know, spread the love throughout all the body and all the rest of the organs. Well, what happened was it got pinched right where I was feeling the pain, okay, right there above my armpit by the shoulder. Oh, terrible ache. And since it was blocked there, there's all that pressure. So what it did was it burst through, it made its own way. It made a new avenue. And it went up, but this avenue wasn't going towards my heart with the clean blood. Oh no. No, this was going up towards my neck, carotid. And that was the pressure I was feeling, like someone was strangling me. And on top of that, I got all these little bumps in my head from it just. And they're not sores, they're bumps. Kind of like heat bumps or a heat rash. Bumps. Little tiny ones. So this is what was happening. See? It branched out and made a new way, and the blood went up to my neck. Okay? Even though I tried to tell them for months, but it took 27 infiltrations. Well, we were on the 27th one. And if anybody knows what an infiltration is or feels like, you know my pain. I got a picture of what one looks like. Okay? Just to let you all know. That's what an infiltration, that's my arm after an infiltration. Okay? Yeah. Very painful. See the top one? That was the venous infiltration. You see the bottom one? Not as bad. That was the arterial. I got a double whammy. Okay? And they expect you to come back and dialyze after you blow your fistula in 2 places. Where the surgeon says absolutely not. You have to wait for it to recover at least 10 days. 10 days to 2 weeks. But anyway, that's a different story. Then after the surgery, I'm thinking, okay, they fixed it. You know, I was telling them, I think it's deep. Go ahead and lift it up, prop it up, so I can have more access to it and it doesn't infiltrate, blah, blah, blah. They didn't do that. Come to find out, they didn't do it because in order to do that, they would have to go back into my right side of my heart. Listen to what I'm saying. The right side, right wall of my heart, right chamber, whatever you want to call it, the right side, and put a tunnel cath back in so I can dialyze that way, which is what I had originally, until the fistula healed and expanded. And I would have to get that put in again for at least 4 to 6 weeks until the fistula would heal from them propping it up, repositioning it. So that's why they didn't prop it up. But if they would have discussed it with me, I probably would have done it. But anyway, they didn't. So after they did that surgery, they come back to tell me what they found, which is what I just showed you, and that they fixed it. And so I come back home thinking I'm able to access my venous now in areas where I couldn't before, and had 3 more infiltrations. So I got to 30 on the venous. But these were done by me, so as soon as I felt it, I turned that machine off. So it wasn't, as soon as I felt that pain start, I turned it right off. I knew what was going on. And sure enough, it was mild infiltrations. But it happened 3 separate times after that. So I called and I said, listen, I need an ultrasound done because I can't seem to access my venous without infiltrating. I thought you all went in there and propped it up. Oh no, we can't do that. This has to happen before we could do. Then I found out about how they have to put the tunnel capped in. It takes 4 to 6 weeks for it to heal. I didn't know this ahead of time. So here I'm thinking I had access to the venous and I hadn't. All right, so they decide to approve an ultrasound so that I can know where on my arm I can stick and where I need to stay away from. Now, a fistula, it's about 7 inches, I think, long. I think I measured it 7 to 9, maybe. It's long. I only have 3 inches of access to my fistula. Only 3. To this day. That I have to work with. And what's dangerous about that, and not so much dangerous, but what's redundant about that and a waste about that is that you recirculate blood that way. In other words, the needles are so close together because they're long, okay? And you only have 3 inches. And each of them are, the regular ones are about 1.25 inches maybe. I think I get the 3/4 inch ones now, the smallest one, because of my fistula situation. But that's still 1.5 inches, and I only have 3 inches of fistula to work with. Not much space in between, and when you have to do 5 times a week, you can't keep sticking in the same spot because they don't allow buttonholes. Not in my clinic. Okay? They frown upon it. So I've got to find a different spot to stick, and I don't have that much to play with. So recirculation of blood is a problem. In other words, the bottom needle, the arterial needle, pulls the dirty blood out, okay, with all the waste. It runs it through the machine. It cleans it with dialysate, brings back the clean blood through the top needle, and then it goes into your heart. The heart distributes it, blah, blah, blah. The problem with that is the needles are so close together that the arterial starts to draw from the clean blood that the top needle is pumping out. So you're recirculating clean blood, and you're left with still dirty blood. Okay, that's the problem. So, but it's all I have right now. I'm going to show you a picture of the ultrasound and how they drew. They drew the fistula, and it kind of tapers off the picture, but to let you know how long it is, I've got here, let's see, 1, 2, there's on my 3 inches right there, then 4, 5, 6, 7. The fistula is about 7 to 9 inches long because it still goes. I ran out of room in the picture, but here's what it looks like. Okay, this is the beginning. Okay, see it's marked. Okay, let's see if I'm at the right place. Yeah, this is the beginning. This is my 3 inches. This is where it ends. This is where it starts to go down deep. And I have a little playing room there. But from here on, see how it curves too? From here on, it's too deep. I can't access that. So all that fistula has gone to waste. It's not being used. Okay? So, here's what I'm thinking. I'm still getting bumps in my head. I'm not getting headaches as often or as severe. And I'm not getting that choking feeling anymore. But I am still getting bumps in my head, and now it's spread. It's not just on this side. I'm thinking that it's still pinched off somewhere in a small area, or it's squeezed, okay? And there's pressure buildup. So, which brings me to the results of the nuclear stress test that I just had done. They said that it looked like a blood vessel was blocked. That's what I think the culprit is, the fistula. I think something is pinched somewhere. Either that, or remember I said I had a heart cath, tunnel cath put in, okay, on the right wall. And this ischemia is on the right wall. Either that, or when they went in there with that, they messed something up. Don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know how that would medically work. But considering I had a heart catheterization prior to me getting those choky feeling, and it was all clear. My blood vessels were clear. I got a thumbs up, like I said in the other video, and we went on with the valve replacement from my heart surgery. And everything was fine. I came out feeling better, breathing better, everything felt better. So now I have this ischemia. So I'm thinking it's either developed after that tunnel cath, a result of, or a result of my episodes with this fistula and the blood vessels that it keeps wanting to branch off into. So anyway, that's where I'm at. They're trying to get me into the cardiology, but the VA is not letting anyone but the patient into the VA. I don't know why. They're on this double lockdown thing now. They've tightened up even more because they're saying it's a hot zone. If it's a hot zone, then don't open up for business. Send people somewhere else into the private sector, shut it down, and just take care of the ones you got there until it's no longer a hot zone. But you don't keep allowing people in. If it's that much of a hot zone that I can't follow my prime directives from the transplant team, which says that I need my supporter with me throughout every single appointment, so that if I'm ever incapacitated and can't answer their questions for whatever reason, and they're ready to do a surgery or whatever, he or she, because my mom is on there also, they can let them know what I've had done, when I had it done, what the outcome was, and blah, blah, blah. So I don't want to go against that because I don't want to ruin my chances of getting something done, of getting my transplant especially, or a procedure leading up to it. So here they are, oh, well, it's on lockdown. And blah. I don't know why no one else is. Every other hospital, stores, no more masks. You know, everybody else is laxing. on their protocol for this COVID-19 crap. You know, not that I don't think it's not real. I believe it's real, but I just think it's not as severe as they say it is. I think that there are underlying conditions that'll make you weaker, especially your immune system. It's like I remember as a child, if I had the cold or the flu or any sniffles of any kind, anything, I was not allowed to go around anyone, visit any of my family members that were pregnant or of age, meaning the elderly. I wasn't allowed grandparents or not older people. We weren't allowed as kids. If we were sick with a cold, we weren't allowed to go around pregnant women or the elderly. That was a given. Everyone knew. It was like an unspoken rule. That's how you were taught. And that's how we respected one another. You know? Now, when it came to chicken pox, that was a party. Everybody brought their babies from far and wide to all gather together so they can get it out the way. You know, because it wasn't it's not a deadly disease. You know, it's something that's containable. Now I hear they have a vaccination for it. But anyway, my point is this. No one else is doubling down on this lockdown crap except the VA. And I'm supposed to follow prime directives from the transplant team. They're very strict, and they have to be. I don't blame them. They have to be. This is serious stuff. Organ transplant is serious business. I want them to be that strict. Okay, that's looking out for me. And I'm all for that. But I can't follow that if the VA is now making allowances for that. So what happens then? So I can't get my medical treatments because of this? Oh, then they ask for a caregiver card. Oh yeah, you get one from your primary care. I checked. There's no such a thing anymore. There was, but that was only for people who were inpatient already and had a caregiver, an already existing caregiver, to come and look after them at the hospital. That has nothing to do with transplant candidates. And they don't even do those anymore. So all this misinformation, while everybody keeps talking about misinformation, the misinformation is with them. So they're trying to work on getting me scheduled in with my supporter, or if not, if I can't go there, if they're going to stay that adamant and double down on that, then they're going to have to refer me to the private sector and let me go see either the surgeon that performed the valve replacement or someone else, a cardiologist outside their network. Because, and they have that. It's called community care. So what I was told was, well, they frown on sending veterans out to community care services when we provide them here. I said, but you're not providing them because you're not allowing me and my supporter in. So how are you providing me that service? You're not. You're preventing me from having that service. I'm just following my prime directives from the transplant team. Y'all need to get together and figure out a recourse for transplant candidates that you all obviously let fall through the cracks and have not considered. So anyway, so that's where I'm at. So I'm waiting to hear a call back to see whether I'm going to be referred out to the private sector to see a cardiologist to discuss this ischemia, supposed ischemia, because they say it's blurred. They're not really sure. And I hope they don't have me go through that stress test again. Lord have mercy. That was the worst. I've already talked about it. I can't go through that again. No, 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 no. And that's not the half of it. I just told you what happened during. I didn't tell you how it affects your body after. Ha! Lord. No, not doing that again. I mean, if I had push come to shove, for God, please don't let that happen again. On cereal. So anyway, so I showed you the pictures, and that's what's going on. So, infiltration, no joke, okay? 3 inches of my fistula is all I have to work with. That's it. Just 3 inches of my fistula. And that was the ultrasound nurse that took that. The radiology nurse, I guess, that drew that. Okay? She drew that. She followed the fistula and drew that. Colored it in and everything. She told me the depth, which are these lines right here. That's the depth. That's how deep down it goes from the top of my arm down into my arm. Yeah. And she wrote too deep. See that? So I only have from here to here. That's it. This right here. That's all I have to work with those long needles. Yep. Anyway, that's my story. That's my journey thus far. And the good upside of everything is I'm doing home hemo very well. No more infiltrations. Just recirculation. And you can see it because when you flush that line, that patient line, the blood draws back. So you can tell, it's recirculating. But, it beats a blank. And if they do decide to put me on the inactive list for further testing to verify whether this is an ischemia or not, then I will consider getting the tunnel cath put back in so that I can get the fistula propped up, and then I'll have the complete fistula to work with. And I won't have to worry about recirculation anymore or any infiltration, dangers of infiltration. Because right now, I'm still scared of infiltrating, especially the venous, running out of room because it dips. So what if I get right to the edge and pokes right through where it dips? You know what I'm saying? So always a danger, there's always a possibility there. And like I said, those suckers hurt. Bad. It feels like somebody got pliers on your veins. Just sharp, edgy pliers just squeezing. Ugh, Lord, that pain. But anyway, that's where I'm at, you guys, and I thought I would catch you up. Here's the good news. Nocturnal is coming up. Yay, it's October. So I think the 21st, I make 6 months on home hemo. And I'll be ready to train for nocturnal, which means that I'll be dialyzing in my sleep at nighttime. So, which means it's going to be a slower process, maybe a 6 to 8 hour dialyzing. It'll be slower, it'll be gentler on the heart, even more so than home hemo is. And so I'm looking forward to that, and it'll be done while I'm sleeping, so I don't have to worry about taking any hours out of my day time. And we'll be moving the cycler and the pure flow from the guest bedroom and into the master bedroom. We've already moved the generator around to the master bedroom window where the machine is going to be relocated at. So should the power go out while I'm dialyzing, or it'll kick in, and I won't have any dangers of clotted blood being recirculated into my body. So, you know, we've got that coming up. I'm looking forward to the training. So I already got the dialyzer cradle, the new one for it on the machine. It's exciting. It's exciting. I feel like, you know, I'm moving on. I'm moving up. You know, progress. That's what it feels like. It feels like progress. So, you know, I'm excited about that. I do have a CPAP machine. This is the other thing that's happened. I went and I did the sleep disorder testing, and it found that I stopped breathing 37 times every hour. So they, and I stopped breathing 37 times, and I definitely have sleep apnea. So there's two things. So I've got the machine. They had to ship it to me because when I went for my appointment, they wouldn't let my support system in with me, so I couldn't get in there. And I'm an hour and a half away from the VA. That's a 3-hour trip, round trip, and they wouldn't let us in. That's another reason why I feel like I qualify for community care. Because it's hard on this body to make a 3-hour trip. You know, yeah, I push myself, you know, every day I push myself so not to be too still and get all caught up in this disease. I keep going, you know, but that's hard to do. It's not easy. I think it's military training. I just have that gung-ho spirit. And I just push myself. I don't care how much I hurt. I push myself, but it is taxing. And they think because they don't see me show it, that I'm fine. I'm not. Dude, I got 9% kidney function left. What does that tell you? Plus other things. Plus I'm a diabetic. You know, plus I have sleep apnea. Plus I had aortic stenosis. I had a valve replaced. Come on now. Doesn't that cry out pain and agony? Seriously, don't let the determination and the bravado fool you. This hurts a lot. Yeah. Especially after dialysis, you get all dizzy and depleted. I mean, you get a burst of energy too, but it's like you're trying to go, and then your body comes up with this dizzy spell, and it stops you in your tracks. And that happens throughout. You know, nerve pain, all kinds of, oh, Lord, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of stuff. You have to worry about gout, restless leg syndrome, which dialyzing causes that. Just all kinds of nausea sometimes. I gotta tell you, it's not, it takes work to get enough energy to build up the strength, your inner strength, your spiritual strength, to get up and go every day, to get up out of that bed every day. It takes a lot. And I do it because I refuse to, I don't want the opposite. I just refuse. I don't give up. Nope. That's not who I am. And maybe once upon a time, but it's not who I am. And I thank the military for that. I really do. It taught me to go down to my core and gather up that inner strength. I'm not powerful. I'm not Superman, super lady, super whatever. I'm just Ani doing the best every day to get up out of that bed and keep it going. Always forward. That's my message to anyone. And let me tell you something. If I can do it, you can do it. In anything. It doesn't have to be in a disease. In anything in life. Don't ever give up. Always forward. All right, y'all. I love y'all in Christ. Be well. God bless you. Take care of yourselves and one another. Coming up next is my bread recipe. It's a Greek bread. I think you'll love it. Bye now.